My husband died on a Sunday. I wasn't with him. I was at the organ, playing the offertory, the way I had every Sunday for 30 years. He died while I was playing. People ask, did you know? Did you feel something? No. I played through to the end. I played the doxology. I played the recessional. I didn't know until I got home. My name is Marjorie Hayes. I'm 88. I grew up in Brunswick, Georgia, 14 Monk Street. My father was a pharmacist. My mother gave piano lessons. Music was how we talked in that house. Not always words, music. I understood early, some things cannot be said, only played. I started piano at 5, organ at 14. The difference is like the difference between speaking and singing. I was hired at First Baptist on Newcastle Street when I was 22. They paid $18 a week. I would have done it for nothing. I nearly told them that. My mother stopped me. I met Edward Hayes in 1960. He was an engineer, Georgia Pacific. Came to church with his mother that first Sunday. He had a good face, not handsome, good. He proposed 8 months later. We married in the same church where I played. I played the processional myself. People remembered that. 30 years of Sundays. You don't think of it as a choice after a while. It's just who you are. The organ was there, you were there. That's all. Until the day it isn't all. And then you spend the rest of your life wondering what the right thing was. 30 years of Sundays, every week, without fail. I missed Edward's mother's funeral on a Sunday. I missed my sister's college graduation. I missed things. Edward never complained, not once. He'd be in the third pew on the left. Every Sunday, I could always see him. I don't know why I remember what he wore that last Sunday. A blue suit, lighter than navy. He'd had it since 1983, and a white shirt, and a green tie I'd given him, small pattern. He looked the same as always. There was nothing different. That's what I keep coming back to. That morning, October 13th, 1991, he made us scrambled eggs. He was the egg man in our house. I never could get them right. He read the paper at the table while I got ready. I kissed him on the top of his head when I left. I said, "See you after." That was it. That was the last thing. That morning, October 13th, 1991, he made us scrambled eggs. He read the paper at the table while I got ready. I kissed him on the top of his head when I left. I said, "See you after." That was it. The last thing I said to him. See you after. 3 words. You say them without thinking. Every morning, every goodbye. And then one time, they're the last ones. And you had no idea, and neither did they. The service was ordinary. Pastor Whitfield gave the sermon on Ecclesiastes. I remember that. I played the hymns as always. I played the offertory. Jesu, joy of man's desiring. 100 times before. Edward was in the third pew. I saw him at the beginning. I don't remember looking again. After the recessional, I sat for a few minutes. I always did. Let the congregation leave. Let the sound settle. When I came down, the third pew was empty. I thought, he went to the car. He sometimes did that, waited in the car. He wasn't in the car. There's a particular feeling when someone isn't where they're supposed to be. You've felt it. The car is there, the coat is there, but the person isn't, and your body understands before your mind does. Mrs. Colbert from the Altar Guild drove me home. She said, "Marjorie, sit down." Edward had had a cardiac event during the offertory. Brunswick Hospital. He was gone before the ambulance arrived. During the offertory. Jesu, joy of man's desiring. Bach. I kept thinking about that. He died while I was doing the thing I had always done. The thing I was supposed to do. What would you have done? I don't ask that to judge you. I ask because I've asked myself for 33 years, and I still don't have the answer. The question I couldn't stop asking. Did he know? Was there a moment before when he looked toward the organ loft and saw me there? And did he think, good, she's playing? Or did he think, I wish she were here? I'll never know. That not knowing is its own kind of grief. That first winter alone was the longest. I'd come home after church and the house would be warm. I'd left the heat on, but it wasn't that kind of warm. I learned the difference that year between a warm house and a warm home. They're not the same thing. The next Sunday came. Pastor Whitfield called, said, Marjorie, you don't have to. We'll find someone. I went. I sat down at the organ, played the prelude, thought about Edward in the third pew. The third pew was empty. I kept playing. People ask how you go on. The honest answer is, you just do. Not because you've decided to, because the next moment arrives whether you're ready or not, and you're in it, and then the one after that. That's not strength. That's just how time works. I played at First Baptist for 11 more years after Edward died, until my hands started to give me trouble, arthritis, the left more than the right. I tried to stay until I couldn't, and then I sat in the congregation, third pew, left side, where Edward used to sit. You find yourself doing that, taking the seat of someone who's gone, not to replace them, not to pretend, just to be close to where they were, to sit in the same light they sat in, to hear the same music. You know what I mean. Maybe you do it too. Here's what I've made my peace with. Edward knew where I was. 30 years of listening to me play, he knew the sound of these hands on that organ. When he heard the offertory, he knew I was there. Maybe that was enough. Maybe being known to someone is a way of being with them. My husband died on a Sunday. I wasn't with him. I've thought about that for 33 years, and lately I've started to think maybe I was, just not in the way I expected. The organ was playing. He knew those hands. Maybe that was being there.